Solve the system of equations using Cramer's rule. We are given the system 1x plus 1y plus z equals negative 1, 3x minus 2y plus 4z equals 0, and 2x plus 5y minus z equals negative 11. And when solving a three-equation, three-variable system using Cramer's rule, we need to come up with four determinants. We need to find d sub x, d sub y, and d sub z. And we'll take a look at figuring out each one of these. Let's start with computing determinant d. And determinant d is found by taking the determinant of our coefficients on our variables. So we have in row 1 or equation 1, 1x plus 1y plus 1z equals negative 1. Second equation, we have 3x minus 2y plus 4z equals 0. And our last row, the coefficients on our variables 2, 5, and negative 1. So now we need to compute this 3 by 3 determinant, and the method that we will use is called expansion by minors using our first column. So we have a positive 1 times its corresponding minor, or its corresponding 2 by 2 determinant. And again, we recall that we imagine knocking out the row and the column that this value is in, leaving us with this 2 by 2 to determine negative 2, 4, 5, negative 1. Now we jump to the next value in column 1, subtracting that one, negative 3 times its corresponding 2 by 2, 1, 1, 5, negative 1. 1, 1, 5, negative 1. Finally, plus 2 times its corresponding minor. So we wipe out the column and the row that this 2 is in, leaving us with this 2 by 2 to determinant 1, 1, negative 2, 4. 1, 1, negative 2, and 4. So now we'll evaluate the expression that we have. Be 1 times this 2 by 2 determinant, which is a positive 2 minus 20, positive 2 minus 20, minus 3 times its corresponding determinant, negative 1 minus 5, negative 1 minus 5, plus 2 times its determinant, positive 4 minus negative 2, positive 4 minus negative 2. We now have 2 minus 20, which is negative 18 times 1, which is negative 18. Negative 1 minus 5 is negative 6 times negative 3 gives us positive 18. And finally, we have 4 minus negative 2, which is positive 6 times positive 2 is positive 12, giving us negative 18 plus 18 is 0. 0 plus 12 is 12. So determinant D is equal to 12. Now that we've determined that determinant D is equal to 12, we will repeat that process 3 more times to figure out what D sub x, D sub y, and D sub z are. So let's work on D sub x. D sub x is the 3 by 3 determinant formed by replacing the x column, or our first column, with the constants. So we will have in column 1, negative 1, 0, negative 11. Our y column remains the same, 1, negative 2, 5, and our third column, 1, 4, and negative 1. And again, we will use expansion by minors to figure out D sub x using column 1. So that would be equal to negative 1 times its corresponding 2 by 2, which would be negative 2, 4, 5, negative 1, negative 2, 4, 5, negative 1, minus 0 times its 2 by 2, but we don't have to worry about that. 0 times whatever that value would end up being will still give us 0, so we really don't need to worry about its minor. Plus negative 11, or minus 11 times its corresponding 2 by 2 determinant, 1, 1, negative 2, 4. 1, 1, negative 2, 4. Now we'll evaluate these determinants, this expression, giving us negative 1 times its 2 by 2, which is a positive 2 minus 20, positive 2 minus 20, minus 0, which we don't need to write anymore, minus 11 times its 2 by 2, 4 minus negative 2, 4 minus negative 2. Simplifying further, 2 minus 20 is a negative 18 times negative 1 is a positive 18. And we will have over here 4 minus negative 2 is a positive 6 times negative 11 is a negative 66. And positive 18 minus 66 is equal to negative 48. So d sub x is equal to negative 48. D sub x equal to negative 48. So now we have d equal to 12, d sub x equal to negative 48. We'll repeat this process 2 more times for d sub y and d sub z. To find d sub y, we will now replace the y column with the constant, so our x column remains the same, 1, 3, 2. We now will write our constants in, negative 1, 0, negative 11, and our z column, 1, positive 4, and negative 1. And again, we will use expansion by minors to figure out what d sub y is. So this would equal 1 times its 2 by 2 determinant, 0, 4, negative 11, negative 1, 0, 4, negative 11, negative 1, minus 3 times its determinant. So we're going to wipe out this column and this row, negative 1, 1, negative 1, 1, negative 11, negative 1, negative 11, negative 1, plus 2 times its 2 by 2, or its minor, so wipe out that column, that row, negative 1, 1, 0, 4. And now we'll evaluate this expression. This would equal 1 times this determinant, 0 minus negative 44, 0 minus negative 44, minus 3 times the determinant, positive 1 minus negative 11, plus 2 times the determinant, negative 4 minus 0. This will now give us 0 minus negative 44 is positive 44 times 1 is positive 44. 1 minus negative 11 is positive 12 times negative 3 is a negative 36. And negative 4 times positive 2 is a negative 8. And when we evaluate 44 minus 36 minus 8, we get 0. So d sub y is equal to 0. We will now repeat this process one more time to figure out what d sub z is. So d sub z is formed by replacing our z column with the constants. So we will have 1, 3, 2, 1, negative 2, positive 5, and negative 1, 0, negative 11. And again, we will evaluate this 3 by 3 determinant using expansion by minors on column 1. So we will have 1 times its 2 by 2. In this case would be negative 2, 0, 5, negative 11, minus 3 times the next minor, so we wipe out this column, this row. 1, negative 1, 5, negative 11, plus 2 times its minor, 1, negative 1, negative 2, 0. And then now we will evaluate these 2 by 2 determinants. First one, we will have 1 times positive 22 minus 0, minus 3 times the next determinant, negative 11 minus negative 5, plus 2 times 0 minus positive 2. We now have 22 minus 0 is 22 times 1, 22. We now have negative 11 minus negative 5. That becomes a plus positive, so this becomes a negative 6 times negative 3, positive 18. 0 minus 2 is negative 2, times positive 2 is a negative 4. So we now have 22 plus 18 minus 4, which gives us a positive 36. So d sub z is 36. Now that we have all 4 of our 3 by 3 determinants solved, we can now use Cramer's rule to solve the system of equations. X is equal to d sub x divided by d. So I walk over to my list. D sub x was negative 48. And we'll divide that by d, which is 12. Negative 48 divided by 12 is a negative 4. Y is equal to d sub y divided by d. D sub y was 0. Divide that by d, still 12. 0 divided by 12 is 0. And z is d sub z divided by d. D sub z is 36 divided by d, which is 12. And 36 divided by 12 is positive 3. So finally we have the solution to our system of equations. X comma y comma z, negative 4 comma 0 comma positive 3. There is our ordered triple.